How you doing today, guys? Welcome back to another day of 7th grade math. Today we're going to be talking about personal budgets. And this is going to be related with percentages, okay? So every time we have a budget, this is going to be like an everyday life whenever you become an adult or your parents use a budget in order to be able to spend money, okay? So they're going to have things like rent, like taxes, food. They're gonna have hopefully some savings, credit card bills, and things like that they're gonna have, okay? So let's say that you have a job, and in this case it says you can find the budget amounts and percents from circle graphs or a table, okay? So we're gonna be using percentages, and like I told you before, every time you have a percent, all you have to do is convert to decimal and multiply. And that's exactly what we're going to be doing over here, okay? So, it says right here, it says the Antico family's monthly budget income is $5,000. So, what we know right now is that they probably make $5,000 a month. And they're going to have to make some payments, okay? They're going to have, you're going to have to make some payments, and we have a graph and a table. The graphs have some things in percentages and some other things not. And all we're doing right here is just filling in the blanks. So right now I'm gonna find out what they have and go from there. So it says rent. The first one is rent. The amount is $12.50. That's how much they pay for rent. But I need to know what percent is that, okay? What percent off 5,000 is $12.50. So if I look at this graph right here, I can kind of estimate that it's gonna be 25%, but I don't know for sure. It looks like it's a quarter, but I have to find out exactly how much that is. So I'm gonna leave that pending, and this is where we're gonna do a part over total, okay? Part over total. The part is gonna be whatever the description is, and the total is gonna be the total income. This is always gonna be the total. Whatever their income is, whatever their budget is, that's gonna be the total, and it's always gonna go on the bottom. Now this is a fraction, and all you have to do is table, top in, bottom out, and that's it. So in order to actually find out how much percent $1,250 off 5,000 is, all I gotta do is set up a fraction where I'm gonna do $12.50 over 5,000, and then just divide top in, bottom out. Now this is gonna be a decimal. Yes, it will be a decimal, but then at the end times 100, or move the decimal 2 places to the right, okay? So before I do anything, I know that whenever something ends in zeros, I can cross out the last 2 zeros, and now my division is gonna come a whole lot faster. 125 divided by 500 is the same thing as 1,250 divided by 5,000. Now when I do TEVA on this, I'm gonna get a number. So I do 1250 divided by 5,000, and I get 0.25. So when I do this, I get 0.25. Yes, that is a decimal, and you're gonna have to convert that into a percent. At this point, you can either move the decimal 2 places to the right or multiply by 100. In this case, the fastest thing to do, move it twice to the right. So my percent is 25%, which is what I thought it was at the beginning when I saw that quarter of a pizza, right? Right there. Now, if I look at this, it says taxes. Right here, we're in taxes now. It says $800, which is 16%. So if I look at this one right here, it's saying that this is 16%, and they have already calculated this for us to be $800. Sometimes you're gonna get it like that, and it's gonna be super cool because you don't have to figure anything out. Now for food, it says food is gonna be 14%. For food is 14%. Let's use blue. Baby blue right there. This is 14%. So we're gonna have to find the amount. Now it's backwards. Instead of dividing, we're gonna have to multiply. Whenever we're finding the percent, to find percent, divide, and to find amount, multiply by the decimal. Okay? Multiply by the decimal. What does that mean? Every time you have a percent, you have to move the decimal 2 places to the left. So all I have to do is multiply the 14% times the total. So I'm going to do 5,000 times 14, but I said as a decimal, so 0.14. Because I move the decimal 2 times to the left, and that's the decimal. Every time you have a percent, move the decimal 2 places to the left, and then multiply. So when I multiply that, I get 5,000 times 0.14. And look, 16% is 800, so 14% is less. So I can expect that to be less than $800. So let's find out. When I multiply that, I get 700. Which makes sense because 16% is 800, so less percentage is going to be less money. Okay? Now the key part. If you go from right to left, divide. But if you go from left to right, you divide. But if you go from right to left, multiply. Okay? So number 3, savings. I don't have any numbers written down right there, so I'm gonna find out. So I'm gonna look at my savings right here, $400. Now this is really cool because I found out the number saving is 400. Now let's think about this for a second. I know the number, so I gotta divide, right? But if I look at the previous numbers above that, look at this one. Look at that one. That is 800 and it's 16%. 400 is half of 800. So half of 16 is going to be what? Half of 16 is going to be what? Somebody. 8. And if you do not believe me, all you have to do is part over total, which is going to be, well, actually, no, you're going to have to, yes, because you're giving the money. So you do 400 divided by 5,000. Again, always by that 5,000, whatever the budget is. You can remove the last 2 zeros and then divide. 4 divided by 50. 50 doesn't go into 4, so you put a 0. That's at a decimal, at a 0, bring the decimal up, add another 0, because 50 doesn't go into 40. So you add another 0, 50 goes into 400 8 times. 8 times 50 is 400. When you subtract, you get 0. So you get 0.08. But don't forget to move the decimal 2 places to the right to convert that into a percent. 1, 2, and it's right there. So this is 8%, which is the number that I found right there. Okay, so let's do another one. So again, if you go from amount, if you have the amount, all you have to do is divide, top in, bottom out, and then move the decimal 2 places to the right. But if you have the percent, all you do is multiply by the decimal of that percent. Always move twice to the left. Now, let's look at number 4. 4 says 4%. So in this case, we have the percent, so we have to multiply. Or, if you look at the one above says, if you look at the one above says 8%. 4 is half of 8, so I can expect this to be 200, but I can still figure it out. So all I gotta do is move this twice to the left, fill it with zeros, and then multiply by 5,000. So this will be 5,000 times 0.04. When you multiply, you get 200, which is the number that I got. So this one is 200. Now, number 5, clothing. We're going to put in 8% for clothing. 8% of the monthly budget is going to go for clothing. How much is 8%? Well, I already found it once. 8% right here is 400. So 8% is always going to be 8%. As long as it's from the same income, same budget, is going to be the same number. Now they found medical expenses, because you're going to have expenses as well. So you're going to pay medical bills. Maybe you got to buy some medicine or something like that. They have set aside $750 for medical. That's 15%. Now transportation, 6%. So again, this is another one where you will have to move one twice and multiply by 5,000. However, if I see 8% is 400, 4% is 200, 6% is between the two of those, so I can expect this to be 300, and that's without doing any math. However, you can still do this right here, 5,000. Why 5,000? Because that is my budget. That is the total money that I have. Times 0.06. When I multiply this, I get 5 times 3, 300. Right there. And the last thing, we're going to set some money aside for emergencies. In this case, we're going to set 4% down, out of the 5,000 for emergencies. I don't have to do it again because I had already found it here. So this is also going to be 200. So as you can see, you can use Antica's monthly income of $5,000 and the percent of the income to find the amount. Like I said, 16 times 5,000 is 800. All you got to do is multiply as a decimal. And you can use the monthly income and dollar amount to find the percent. So you use divide, like I did over here. Divide, multiply. Now we're going to find some missing ones. It says, name 3 items in the budget whose sums equals the taxes. So now we're going to play with these things. We're going to find 3 items that when I add the 3 up, it's going to be the same amount as the taxes. So first thing, I got to find out how much the taxes are. And I know the taxes equals 800 is right here. So I'm going to find 3 things that when I add them is going to give me 800, the taxes. So let's look at this. I have 400 and 400 is not going to do it. That's 800 and that's already 2. But if I do 200 and 200 and 400, that will do it. So I can do probably savings plus credit card plus emergency. If I add those 3, that's going to be 800. So that's going to be savings plus credit card plus emergency. How do I know that? Because savings is $400, credit cards is 200, and the emergency is also 200. When you add those 2, you get 400. 400 plus 400 is 800. That's that simple. And it says, what item does the sum of medical, transportation, and emergency fund equal? So I'm going to have to sum medical, transportation, and emergency and see what it matches that item. So medical, I have 750. Transportation, 300. And emergency, 200. When I add those 3, it says that it's going to be the same amount as another one. So in this case, it's going to be 500 between those 2, and 750 is going to equal 1250. Now I go back to the table, and which item is the same as that amount? The rent. So the answer for this one will be rent. And that is basically how you play with budgets. Again, anytime you're given an amount and a total budget, to find the percent, all you gotta do is part over total, divide the amount divided by the total budget, and then move the decimal 2 places to the right, and that will be the percent. And if you're given the percent and you need to find the amount, you just do the opposite. Instead of multiplying, you're gonna convert the percent to decimal. Always, every time you have a percent, convert to decimal, multiply by the total, and that's gonna be the amount. That's how you work it backwards. That is it for this one, guys. I hope you find this video interesting. If you want to support the channel, that link is down in the description. Don't forget to comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.